This is Daisies, a 1966 film, and it became so controversial that communist officials accused it of poisoning the life of working people and pulled it from the cinemas. All because two young women looked at the world and said, if everything is spoiled, then we will be spoiled too. Our main character, Murray 1 and Murray 2, one blonde, one brunette, both more like dolls than realistic characters. They decide that world around them is rotten, morally, politically and socially, and they make a choice. Instead of trying to fix anything, they will mirror that rottenness back. From that decision, the film turns into chain of wild episodes. They let lonely older men take them out, drains their wallet and abandons them on train. They scam their way into fancy restaurant, gorge on food and drinks, leave chaos behind. They cut up phallic-shaped foods, sausage, eggs, while a man declares his love over the phone, reducing him to the background noise while they mock symbolic male power. There is so much chaos in the movie, but there's a reason that chaos bothered the authorities so much. To understand Daisies, you have to place it inside Czechoslovakia in 1960s. After World War II, the country fell under Soviet influence, and in 1948, the Communist Party took full control, turning it into socialist republic aligned with Moscow. The film industry was nationalized originally to protect financial and creative independence, but in practice it became a tool of ideological control. Censorship tightened through 1950s. The state monitored media, speech, and even travel, pushing all culture towards official socialist values. At the same time, a new generation of filmmakers came out of Prague Film School, which had more open, experimental atmosphere than everyday's life. These filmmakers started to question the system using satire, surrealism, and formally adventurous cinema. Within this context, Daisies was explosive. Critics and audience loved its energy, but officials saw it as mocking discipline, work, and socialist morality. They seized on banquet and cake throwing scenes as proof that film was wasting food and insulting worker. And in 1967, Daisies was pulled from all major cinemas and denied export. Official excuse was waste, but the real problem was the film made disobedience look joyful. And one thing to remind you all, king is only a king until people are obedient towards him. The director of movie own life feed directly into this rebellion. She grew up under Soviet rule, raised Catholic and worked as model, a clapper and a script girl before forcing her way into FMU's directing program. For a time, she was the only woman in the classroom, trying to become a director in an industry and education system dominated by men. Critic Christina Newland notes that this gave her a deep understanding of how layered patriarchy and power were in Czechoslovakia, in religion, in politics, and in film. Daisy channels that frustration into two characters who weaponize everything that is supposed to make them cute and harmless. On the surface, Murray 1 and Murray 2 acts like caricature of bad young women. They flirt for free meals, they lie, they drink too much, they sunbathe and waste time. But look closely at who they target. Almost all the time, their tricks are aimed at men. The older suitor who pay for endless dinner and train rides. The man on the phone who pours out love while they ignore him. The male authority figures who expect them to behave. Their style is part of attack. Newland described the baby doll dresses, thick black eyeliner, and Daisy's flower crown as kind of hyper girlishness that would be seemed strange and sluttish in 1960s. These outfits now read like modern festival fashion, short dresses, floral headbands, extroverted makeup. But at that time they violated expectation of modesty and decorum. The two women even joke that they are like dolls no one understands, and from there they choose unruliness as their honest response. So the film's feminism doesn't look like serious manifesto. It looks like two empty, pardon my language, cartoonish girl who by refusing to be serious and by refusing to care expose how ridiculous male power and sexist expectations really are. The rebellion is not only in what Murrays do, but in how the film itself is built. Daisies barely follow a linear plot, it's closer to a string of vignettes connected by visual and rhythmic logic rather than story logic. The opening already announces this. We get a strange, flat landscape, a single tree and apple, a loose echo of Garden of Eden and Eve disobedience. The composition feels more like medieval painting than realistic space, with the depth flattened and frame arranged like symbols. The film is filled with jump cuts, sudden shift in color. Almost every frame is a different image and a form of anti-animation that exposes the mechanics of cinema. The movie Daisies flaunts their discreetness. One of the most important visual motifs is the flower crown. We see it tossed into water, lying on grass that turns out to be stripe of fake turf on bed, or floating as a transition element between scenes. It doesn't move the story forward in conventional way. Instead, it let director jump between spaces through graphic matches and movement, emphasizing that the film is guided by image association, not by cause and effect and plotting. All of this means that formally the film behaves the way Murray behaves. It refuses to obey the rules it was supposed to follow. Just as they disrupt dates, dinners, and social rituals, the editing disrupts the narrative order, continuity, and cinematic decorum. The last sequence of Daisies pull all these ideas together. After the banquet destruction, the chandelier breaks and Murray's plunge into water, crying for help from nearby boat. The sailors push them under repeatedly until they lose grip and vanish beneath the surface. What comes next is kind of dying fantasy. The image shifts into black and white, and suddenly the Murrays are back in the wrecked dining room, surrounded by overturned chairs, shattered plates, and leftover food smeared across the floor. They are wearing strange costume made of entirely of newspaper. The newspaper here matters. In a state where the press mainly spread government propagandas, wrapping their bodies in print suggests that they are now literally covered in staid words, forced to perform the version of good the regime demands. As they move through the mess, they whisper over and over again, "We will be hardworking and good. We will be happy." It sounds like self hypnosis or like socialist slogan drilled into them. They try to put broken plates back on the table, scrape food off the floor onto the dishes, and carefully reset the room. But the effort is obviously doomed. The plates are still cracked, the food is still ruined. The ticking of clock grows louder as they lie down on the table like mannequins, giving the scene a suffocating tension as if time or death is closing in. They insist they are happy and good now, but their faces look blank and exhausted. And then, ironically, the chandelier collapses on them anyway. The film ends with a title card. This film is dedicated to those whose sole source of indignation is messed up trifle. Even when the Murrays finally obey, they are still crushed. The message is sharp. In a spoiled world and rigid system, there may be no way to repair everything by suddenly becoming obedient. The punishment comes either way. On a broader level, you look at something like Daisies and you realize that it's just one flare in whole series of spasm the medium having for decades. New waves, they called them. France, Eastern Europe, all these kids with cameras and no patience left for stories their parents believed in, using jump cuts and broken narrative the way other people use drug or religion just to get through the day. Time moves on, regimes fall, but the image don't age as much you expect. The clothes, short dresses, eyeliner, flower crown could walk straight into festival crowd and no one would blink. The color burn. The film keep winking at you like they know it's just another piece of content in a culture that chews everything up and spit out as a meme. Underneath the surface, though, there's something sharper. Daisies take two paper thin dolls and turns them into saboteurs. Their jokes, their waste, their refusal to play along. That's how the film tests the load bearing capacity of patriarchy and political power and finds both of them weaker than they advertised. In a spoiled world where every institution insists on their importance, sometimes the most serious thing you can do is to refuse to take any of it seriously at all.